Purge me with hyssop, it says in the psalm, and you're very familiar with bits and pieces of that psalm. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Hyssop is a very rare word in the Bible. We're very familiar with it, especially if you come to Ash Wednesday services on a regular basis, or perhaps your devotions include Psalm 51 and you see it on a regular basis. It also shows up in one of the Gospels. I forget which one. I forgot to look it up. But it's when Jesus is on the cross and he says, I'm thirsty, and they reach and they go get him some sour wine and put it on a hyssop stalk. And it's a very strange scene anyway. We don't understand what that actually says or means. It's obviously symbolic for some reason. We'll get to that some other Ash Wednesday in the future. But it's used once here in Psalm 51, and it's never anywhere else except for one place. In a broad general speaking, it's between Leviticus 11 and Leviticus 16. Leviticus 10 is where Nadab and Abihu get killed. Tabernacle stuff, I know it's boring. And the Day of Atonement. Okay, so you've got that narrative going on there. And in between that, we have this long speech or diatribe by God. Don't just come into the tabernacle. And then this thing, if you have an outbreak on your skin, have the priest check it out. And if it's got yellow stuff in it, it's leprosy, you're outcast. And on and on and on for 3 chapters. Well, what if your leprosy heals up? You know, it happened. It's not Hansen's disease, which we call leprosy. Leper is where your skin falls off, and they have those leper colonies and stuff in Hawaii, I think, where they do the dermabrasion and all that. That's not necessarily what leprosy is. Leprosy is skin disease, and that's laid out in great detail in Leviticus what it is. It's just basically, is your skin messed up for a while or for a chronic period of time? If it is, you're out. You're not clean. You're unclean. And David says, purge me with hyssop, and to get clean from leprosy, it heals up. You have to present yourself to the priest. Do you remember this story? Jesus is walking on his way to Jerusalem, and he sees 10 lepers, and they call out, Master, have mercy on us. I think they may even say, Son of David, have mercy on us. And he heals them. Go, show yourselves to the priests, he says. Right? And there's another leper he heals in Mark. Go show yourself to the priest. There's a ritual. It's not just that your skin healed. That doesn't make you clean. That means your leprosy is healed. What do you do? Well, in Leviticus 14, there's a very precise, detailed thing that you're supposed to do when you show up. It says this here. These are the regulations for the diseased person at the time of his cleansing when he is brought to the priest. The priest is to go outside the camp. Okay, so the guy can't come in, the leper. The priest goes to him and examines him. If the person has been healed of his infectious disease, the priest shall command that 2 live clean birds, some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop be brought for the one to be cleansed. Then the priest shall order. All right, so let's check it here. Shall command. What did it say here? 2 clean birds. These are alive and they're clean. Right? I have 1. I have 2 birds. Clean birds. Let's check it again. Let's see. Clean birds. Cedar wood. Cedar wood, you recognize that if you've ever done it. Shimmy the door. I think that's really what they want. It's something about like that. I'll explain to you in a little while. Scarlet yarn. Check. Scarlet yarn. All right, good. So we got that. What's all that for? And hyssop. All right, hyssop is a strange word, right? We don't really know what it means. And I looked it up in a dictionary. Hyssop is a particular genus and species of a plant, but it doesn't grow in the Mediterranean. What are they talking about? So you do some investigating, and basically what we found out is that there's this bush that grows out of a wall in your, in your house. Have you ever had stuff grow out of the wall of your house? You've had this happen, like those maple things when they fall in your gutters, they grow. This thing does the same thing. It finds a little hole in the wall and starts growing out, right? And it's bristly, right? It has these wiry branches coming out like that. And you pick it, right? Now, I don't have a hyssop in my house. And you cut it like that, right? And it becomes this stiff, bristly thing that you can use to scrub a wall or a floor with, right? And the thing about it is it soaks up water and soap, right? So hey, you know what? I just thought of this. It's like one of those things that the men use to make their beard stand up when they shave. That's what it's like, and that's what it does. Except another one is like when you want to wash out a wok there, the Chinese cooking, they use the bamboo brush. That's what a hyssop is. It soaks in water and it's very stiff. And you can imagine when David says, "Purge me with hyssop," that's an uncomfortable thing he's saying. So, what's going on here? All right, so we've got all that. Since I don't have hyssop, I brought a broom. It does the same thing. You've ever cleaned like a basement floor, or maybe the kitchen floor got really dirty, has a spot on it, and you have to use something really stiff, right? And you can dunk that in water and really get it washed out, right? You understand what the point is? Good. I see nodding heads. Actually, we're doing a good job here. All right. All right, so what's happening? Then the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed over fresh water in an earthen pot. Some of you saw me scrambling around. Here's our earthen pot. It's just stoneware dish. And it's a confusing thing. I read it over and over again in various Bibles, various versions, and in Hebrew. It's a very odd picture, and we're not sure exactly what that means. In the first place, you have here fresh water. And I looked it up, and it says, literally, it's not that this is wrong, literally says living water. Right? You recognize that, don't you? Living water. But it might be an idiom for one of two things. Water that's on the move, right? Running water, or fresh water. That's something that's not stagnant and has a bunch of bugs in it. It could be just that. And what does it mean here when it says, the bird shall be, we'll kill the bird in a second. It shall be killed over fresh water in a clay pot. It says something like this literally. It shall be killed in an earthen well vessel to fresh water. We don't know what to make of that. So I'm not an Israelite priest, so I don't have to get it exactly right. I'm a Christian pastor, and so I can do it the way I want to do it. And the way I think it's done is that you take a earthenware vessel like this, and you fill it with fresh water. Now, anybody who's ever killed a small bird knows that there's really not much blood, is there? I mean, a chicken has a little bit of blood, and a turkey, not much blood at all. If you ever killed a turkey, wild turkey hunters, you know that. That's one of the things about a bird. It can't have a lot of blood. It's heavy. So it's made differently than mammals are, so that they can fly, right? You understand? And so I don't think that you kill this bird and it's some sort of magical thing where you hold this up over water and kill it. Because then the next thing is, and I know why. The next thing is you're going to take that hyssop eventually and dunk it in the blood, right? And it doesn't make sense to me that you do it over the water and the water doesn't play a role in it. I think what you do is you kill the bird, and you can't just wring its neck off. Like if anybody ever raised on a farm ever have to kill a chicken to wring its neck off? I don't think you can do that. I think the idea is you have to keep it whole, right? And so you take your live bird, one of the two of them, and you kill it, right? And it's going to die. And I have some blood with me. Thank you, Judy Jackson, for fetching my blood. And you bleed it out in the water. Now you can't see that, but you know how you've done this. Have you ever cut yourself in the bathtub, shaving, or over a sink? And it's full of water, and you know when the blood hits, it just fills it immediately, almost instantly. This blood didn't do the trick. It'll do good enough, and I'll stir it up. But blood, you know how blood behaves in water. It does differently than food coloring. So I think I'm going to start with this thing here. Here we go. Judy Para, I promise I won't get any on my white olive. So you've got the poor dead bird. It is bleeding out in the water. I'm going to go ahead and try to put him in there. There we go. He's dead. Could you imagine being the birds when they flip the coin to see which one would die? And then you take your live bird and you take your cedar branch, and you hold it down. It's alive. I'm trying not to kill it. You take your hyssop, and the cedar is now functioning as a kind of handle. I really have crushed the poor little bird. There we go. Like this. And then you tie them together. See if I can pull this off. There you go. Mary Poppins is going to show up in a minute, I think. Okay, and the next thing you do is you remember you're outside the camp, and it says them, by the way. He's going to command them, which means that the guy's family has brought him to the priest, or the priest out to them, really. And he's going to say to them, now do this. And he's going to dunk the live bird into the water, and it's going to soak in this bloody water on the hyssop, right? And also it's going to cover the bird, the live bird. And the live bird is going to be covered in blood. I'm going to try to do that. There we go. I didn't get it all right, but you get the point, right? Okay? And so you've got this live bird, which is dunked in this bloody water, and the hyssop, which is soaking it in. And you take your leper, who no longer has leprosy, and you fling it at him. I'm not going to do it right now, because it'll get all over. You fling it at him, and it gets all over him, and now he's clean. And then you take the live bird, oh, he's all wet, and he'll shake off his excess water, and he will fly away, it says. I'll read it to you. He is then to take the live bird and dip it, together with the cedar wood and the scarlet yarn and the hyssop, into the blood of the bird that was killed over the fresh water. 7 times he shall sprinkle the one to be cleansed of the infectious disease. And it goes into the wild blue yonder. It is gone. And the leper, with his eyes, is seeing this very thing. You're not clean until that bird dies and another one goes in and flies away. You are the leper. You are clean because somebody else went in there for you. And I hope you can see where this is going. This is your baptism in an Old Testament picture. You go in that water with Christ. He is your dead bird. The only difference being that your dead bird comes back to life and carries you away. Both of you free as a bird. And that's what Saint David, it is Saint, but David is trying to get after when he says, purge me with hyssop. He's not a leper. Well, he murdered a guy because he was committing adultery with his wife. He knows that he is a leper in his heart, and that leprosy in general in the people of God, among the people of God, was just a sign that we are all lepers in our hearts. And he says, create in me a clean heart. Purge me with hyssop. That's what's going on when he says, purge me with hyssop. He wants a bird to go in for him because he knows he can't. He's not gonna make it, right? The whole thing's about the works we did just a minute ago and the prayers and all that kind of thing. See, this is what happens when you don't write down a sermon, because I got lost. I have no idea where I am. It's my own. Ash Wednesday reminds you what can't David do, right? He can't be pure. He can't live, right? We know on Ash Wednesday that we have leprosy of the worst kind. We're going to die. There is no worse skin disease than death. If you think about it, I'm being a little bit flippant, but at the same time, that's it. You're a corpse. You're going to rot away. Thanks be to God that there's another dove involved, and we go with him. As he says at the tomb of Lazarus, which we'll meet, I think, in the 4th or 5th Sunday in Lent. Yea, though a man die, he shall not die, but live. He will never die. Okay? Ash Wednesday. Dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And then you'll fly away. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now what I'm going to do, or if somebody can help me, because I've got to run a church service. Could someone empty this and then bring back a fresh bowl of clean water? Can you do that? Yeah, and what I want
Without with or without bird?
without the bird, please. And what I would like you to do, if you please, and you can go ahead and do that. If you want to, and when you're coming up for absolution, or even for the Lord's Supper, just touch your hand in the water there. It'll be clean water. And remember your baptism on Ash Wednesday. Right on.